It's better to scare people than to bore them. There's enough boredom out there already. I wrote that on a piece of paper and hung it above my piano the day I started writing this album, which, looking back, was a bit melodramatic of me. But it became almost like a mantra that whatever I was doing wasn't boring. Being boring was always my biggest fear.
The essence of tragedy derives not from one character being right and the other being wrong, or from the conflict of good versus evil, but from conflict in which both characters are right, and thus the tragedy is one of right against right.
What is it?
Why is it?
Really? I think I showed you this way back when. I was like in the middle of writing and I was recording and whatever, and then Thomas like came in and was like, oh my god. Here.
I get that when I get excited about my sounds and synths,
Yeah.
and I have to call her and it's like, you have to look at this.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
Wait, I need it. Give me 5 minutes, okay? Quick, or I'll forget what I just did.
That was March 17th, 2022.
And that's when we thought it might be cool to use some orchestration on it, like
Yeah.
a real string quartet or quintet.
I mean, that's always been like a dream of mine because I love classical music and especially like classical elements in more like, you know, rock or pop music.
Since we are also like very cineastic, we love movies and we love movie scores. The combination of modern music plus orchestra has always been like
It's so
a
fascinating.
thing that connects us.
And then we also had some helium vocals where I just like inhaled helium for my voice to sound higher. And we layered like a bunch of vocals, especially at the end.
If you speak with it, it sounds goofy and fun.
Yeah.
And when you sing with it, it sounds more like you singing with your younger self.
Yeah. For me, the intro is more of a door opener to the album you're about to hear, so it was important to me that it would give you a bit of an introduction to what you're about to listen to without spoiling anything.
Give some words of wisdom.
Don't do kids' drugs. Metaphorically, mayhem is childhood, meaning we all grew up in mayhem and have or someday will leave mayhem. And we all live or have lived in different districts or moved throughout our childhood while growing up. So track 2, a place called Mayhem. One of the things that we did very early on in recording this album was create, we called it the Mayhem Sound Library. It took days where we just sieved through all sorts of different filters and plugins and different sounds and made different sounds and, you know, tried all this shit out just to have like a nice compilation of really interesting sounds that we could use throughout the album, but especially also on this track.
When I envisioned mayhem, it was always, in my head was always Gotham City, partly dirty, filthy, industrial. So
That was a big
what
thing.
So we ended up having a lot of metal sounding samples. One time we went outside, put up microphones in the backyard,
Yeah.
and we just smashed and trashed everything we could
Anything.
find.
Mayhem is a fictional city in which I follow 5 characters. And I actually drew this little map, so maybe you can visualize it a bit better. I divided it into 2 districts, Alibi and Durden. And the green ones are the characters on the album, the 5 characters. Stanley, Brooke, and Madeline, and Lama and Cree. And these 2 are from Durden, and these 3 are from Alibi. The difference between Durden and Alibi is kind of general, that like Alibi is a bit like kinder and safer, and Durden is a bit darker and rougher. And the red ones are the songs on the album and kind of where I picture them in the map in Mayhem. Yeah. Also, it was really important to me that we would let the guitarist especially have at least one solo, because it's so rare nowadays, especially in like the genre of music that we make. And
sure, because the radios always cut it out, and it's the best thing.
It's
are solos where you just go wild and crazy, and have some emotion. I don't know why it's forbidden nowadays.
Well, I remember when Dudas, our guitarist, I'm just kind of like fiddling around. We were like, oh, come on, play a solo. Come on. I could tell he was kind of still holding back, trying to keep it in the realm of like, oh yeah, it's a nice solo for pop, whatever. And then we kind of were like, look, can you please just play something like actually like dirty?
Go
like,
insane with the instrument.
And then he just started.
He just did.
On the first take, that was the one that we used. I was sitting right there. I remember I like melted into the floor because I was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
It was jaw-dropping, definitely. And he's so good with noises that make music on this guitar. It's insane. I can't really describe what's happening.
Yeah. Thomas put the band together before we even probably worked with each other. Our first session was on December 1st, 2021, and went until the 4th. Those were some of the best days of my life. Thomas and I met through my mom, and we had an instant connection through music.
Sing. Sing. When I were at the studio, it's called Kangaroo, and the live floor is
Love and heartbreak are the most accessible things to write about, and therefore that topic has been covered by many artists before. And that's why I was also kind of hesitant to touch on those typical topics, because I'm paranoid to ever sound like anyone else. But Stanley, for example, you could easily interpret as revolving around a romantic situation, losing someone you love to change and hating the person they're becoming. In the concept of the album, it's Madeline talking about Stanley. But I tried to write it so you could also look at it from the perspective of a kid singing about their older self, being disappointed at how everything went down and what you've become. I feel like that's wrong. I feel like it's bum, bum, bum. The narrative of not being able to cope with yourself changing and thinking of your younger self and how confused and crestfallen they would be to see who you've become. It was easily the most challenging song to write because once I'd written it from the relationship point of view, I had to rewrite it as what a kid might think about their older self and adjust it accordingly. And then I went back to the relationship version and back to the kid version, and it felt like an endless circle of rewriting, but I think it paid off.
What I tried to do in this song was, with backing vocals, create a synthesizer. In the beginning, you didn't like it because you didn't sound very good, like in the top, but that wasn't. It was long notes, holding them, but it wasn't about sounding nice and good. It was about the cluster of a harmony that I could then
make into an instrument, basically.
Yeah, then fuck it up later with a tremolo on it, and it becomes part of an iconic synth sound. You know? And you just heard the plain version before any manipulation, and thought, oh, I sound horrible. I don't like this.
And that's it. It's such a like an endless thing of like, this sounds bad, and then it sounds worse, and then I sound worse, and then it's just this spiraling of like.
Yeah, you think it's not well
like
sung, and then you know it's not well sung or whatever.
This was still at the very beginning. I had basically no experience in recording and also specifically working with Thomas. One of the biggest things I learned from this album was trust Thomas, especially when it comes to sounds, and just to do stuff that I think sounds bad, especially with my voice, because the things that you can make out of them, that we have so many incredible things that came just from like you being like, just do it. And then
Yeah.
it ended up sounding great. Sold for a Soul is the oldest song on the album. I wrote it when I was 16, long before I even met Thomas. I can confidently say that this is the first song I ever wrote that I'm still proud of today. Back then, all of the songs I was writing they were awful. But it was the first song where the demo that I recorded on my iPad also kind of caught the essence of the song and what it sounded like in my head. And we actually used some of the sounds in my demo in the final recording because I was just kind of trying out stuff that sounded weird because I didn't really know much about producing or recording back then. But I feel like it kind of worked to my advantage for that song because I literally just did weird shit.
For us, it was always the epic song. We couldn't stop listening to it.
Ah.
Like the rough mix at the end of the production, we were like,
Listen
play
again.
it one more time,
Play it
play it
one
one more
more
time,
time,
play it one more time. And
And
I
in the
think-
mornings I was like, okay.
First thing
Yeah.
we got in because of that experience. I thought, you know what? I love this so much. Working with her and hearing the result that comes out of it. We have to do an album.
Writer is what I like to call a scrap song. These are songs that I write with the leftover lines from other songs that I never used or decided not to put in for whatever reason.
And you know it kills every time you
And most of my scrap songs will never see the light of day because, well, they're the leftovers of lyrics, basically. But every once in a while, something really special happens when I write them, and Writer is one of the few, and the only one on the album, actually.
every single game.
Another fun thing about writing these is how fast they come together sometimes. All I need is a good album or some sort of inspiration that I consume beforehand, and then it's just a matter of minutes and the song's just done. And in this case, it was the album Yanni On by Bill Ryder Jones, hence the name. In the end, songwriting is an art of theft. I don't think I've ever written anything good that just came from me. It's usually another piece of art that plants the idea in my head, or a part of the idea.
The TV.
And that's the coolest thing about art. None of it could exist without the other.
They're trying to stay entertained. They're trying to stay afloat. It just take one boat, but we already lost the hope. Well, some just trying to get by, and some just trying to get high. Some just trying to be enough, and some just trying to get tough.
I really connect the song with Doris, the guitarist who obviously played on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I was recording it and out in the hall there, and he was in the recording room, and then we took a break, and he walked past me and like stopped me by my shoulders and like looked me in the eyes and said like, you sang that beautifully, and then he hugged me, and then he looked at me again and said like that was like that inspires me so much. And to this day that's like one of the best like moments of my life, because that's really all I want to do in life is like that's my dream.
That's the essence.
Literally to
of
inspire
music.
people. And then it's also like a person that like not only like looks like the coolest person ever, but also kind of is. And
Yeah, it's true. And he had tears in his eyes because
Yeah.
he's such an awesome musician and loves music so much.
yeah,
And he was moved.
yeah,
That was special, absolutely.
yeah. You ready? Should I walk?
There's someone standing in the window.
I was really angry when I wrote this song.
Might just be a shadow.
I remember being fed up with politicians,
Forgotten flowers, money towers.
and I think that sums it up. It's actually a really, really, really old song. Like it's a very, like at least the first drafts of it go way back into like when I was, I don't know, 15, 16. So it was really special to actually like have it be recorded by a band.
I thought it's cool to just play it super slow
Yeah.
And it's pretty much we told the band, I mean, as slow as he can play.
Yeah.
Like it's like riding a bike. Like how slow can you ride it and not fall off it?
This was one of the songs. This was one of the moments where I really was like, while playing, while you hear the music, you feel like it sounds cheesy, but it's really cheery. You feel like, yeah, you're flying, you're moving. And I remember we started the first half of the song is I played it with a plastic bag. Mm-hmm. And the second half of the song was like really big, slow, and heavy, but real big. So this was a really good moment. And then it's Thomas who is mixing it.
Yeah.
Everything together. I mean, I can come to Thomas and can say, hey, let's use a plastic bag. And he never would say, oh, the plastic bag? No, what do you mean? No, every time when I bring some special ideas like this, shall we try plastic bag? He is always, okay, let's go. Yeah, let's try it. Different microphone, maybe different angle. What kind of plastic bag do you need?
I always kind of imagined like a very like apocalyptic scenery with it.
Heart starts racing, although it's calm.
Yeah, and I just kind of wanted a song that captured that like catastrophic and destructive like silence and calmness somehow that those like scenes and those feelings have.
I wonder why they always sigh and say, man, I'm so fucking tired of seeing all this shit on the screen. Well, let me tell you something. They'll call it a crime, but line after line, sign after sign, maybe you should try to figure out why they're always fucking lying.
Culprit was the result of watching just about everything that has to do with outlaws. The composition of different things I'd written down while watching Breaking Bad, Reservoir Dogs, Money Heist, Pulp Fiction, and so on was at one point inevitable. I find it very interesting the way we treat and talk about criminals, especially in movies, and also how we oftentimes end up perceiving them as the heroes of the story.
Okay, try hitting it like as hard as you possibly. Like, hang on.
My goal is always with that song for it to be like an adrenaline boost, especially like in the first verse and then into the pre-chorus and stuff. I mean, I work a lot with visual aids, and it was, I don't know, really fun for me to have that song always in the back of my head when, you know, watching like my favorite movies and all of that. This is one of the scenes I printed out is from Reservoir Dogs, and I love listening to Culprit and just looking at that picture because I think it represents like exactly what I wanted it to represent, I guess. That piano melody on the latter half is my favorite melody, like opening intro melody I've ever written, I think. There's something so like, I remember just picturing it live and how like epic and big it could sound, even though it's just, you know, the piano. So I knew, when I wrote it, I knew I really wanted to use it on the album, but Thomas, on the other hand, took some convincing. And then go into the song with that.
And the song is?
Latter half. That's the piano song.
I kind of feel it's a little child's play thing, like really.
Child's play?
Yeah, it's kind of childish melody.
This is like my favorite melody I've written on the piano.
Oh, come on, no.
Well, I'm being serious.
No, it's
not,
like
it's
from
literally
a
not even
children's
kids'
show. It is.
It's not from a
I'm
fucking show. What children's show did you watch? That's not even an argument. There's actually no negotiation.
Well,
I've already decided.
Fuck, she's right. I never really considered myself being a keyboarder or a pianist or whatever. But with your music, I thought, oh, you know what? I can actually, maybe I can pull this off. I can try this.
Yeah.
I become a musician again. So when we recorded this song, for both of us, it was something new. I wasn't used to accompanying anyone, and you were not super used to being accompanied by
Yeah.
an instrument. So
Yeah.
we were kind of new to it. And so while playing, each and everyone was kind of like waiting for the other one to do the first move. And this tiptoeing around had a special tension, I think.
Yeah, it was
And-
very, it was very like careful and very like,
Delicate.
can I, okay, are you gonna go up? Okay, you know, like that.
Yeah.
I think even if we still play it today, I think there's still a hint of that, like being very careful with
Yeah, absolutely.
everything that we're doing, with him playing and me singing, and just always being very like careful with
Yeah, this-
with each other in the sense of like
Absolutely. This kind of performance is ingrained.
There's so many things that you hear about life and mental health, these quotes that are supposed to help you. And most of the time they're true and they do help. But when you take a step back, you also kind of realize that they're just like little treats to lure you to keep going. The latter half came out of feeling that hopelessness, that there isn't really a cure for any of that.
Let's work. Right, 3, 2, 1. And how would you say having autism can hold you back in the music world? And how would you say there are any advantages of it?
Being aware of my differences to other people gives me a lot more confidence somehow, because I mean, like I said in the beginning, it's always been like a very big fear of mine to be ordinary, I guess, or boring. And I think through just knowing for myself that I'm different than other people and that I feel and think differently, it gives me confidence, and that's a very good thing to have, because I lack it in very many other things. And disadvantage, I mean, some people just think they know what it means to be autistic, and also think that if they've met one autistic person, everyone's like that, that's autistic. Like, you know, hearing the line of like, oh, I know an autistic person, that therefore you must be like that one person I met that one time. Like, I've heard that from many people, and then there are just a lot of assumptions that are made. Standing up for yourself in those situations can be somewhat difficult sometimes. But I think I'm very lucky to have very supportive people around me that give me space and time to figure those things out, and that give me space when I need it. I think when it comes to touring, which I've never done, that's something that I think will be very, very challenging, and I have no idea how we're going to tackle that. But for just recording, I don't know, I think it gives me, for simply just recording, more advantages, because it's, I don't know, it's something that gives me confidence and security in a way. And yeah, plus I get to wear these cool glasses. Yeah. I wrote this in one sitting a few days after Putin invaded Ukraine. The reality of the human stupidity just kind of came crashing into me, like war and politics and the wish to escape it all. And visually, it's very much inspired by the director Wong Kar-wai. The cinematography in his movies is exactly how I wanted this song to sound like. Loneliness and Neon Lights, basically. And I actually have, these are the pictures that we worked with. We kind of split up the song into two parts. The first one is Loneliness, and the second one is Neon Lights. So the first part is the feeling of being very hammered and having blurry vision and smoking and kind of everything that's going on in this picture being very like melancholic. And the second half we kind of wanted to be really fast and energetic, kind of escaping everything and running from your life and from the world.
It was almost like a 1,000-piece puzzle where you're like, I think this could fit in here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, still not done, but we have 1,000 more puzzle pieces
Yeah.
to find still.
A big thing that inspired me for the song, or us for the song, especially like mood-wise, was All Quiet on the Western Front. And that score specifically was one that I like could not stop listening to. I was listening to it everywhere and anytime. That whole feel of that soundtrack was so inspiring to this song. Though the song like kind of started in more like a big city and club and da-da-da, not World War I, but there was something so tragic about that score and that movie that somehow played into the whole theme also of wanting to escape this world and the human stupidity, like as I also say in the song.
And war, for that matter.
Yeah, and war, and just kind of the thing of like,
Just
why are we actually, how are we letting this
why
happen?
war? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just another lie, and just another sigh.
You play more pranks on me than I do on you.
Yes, I love that. Pranks on her is the best. Her reactions are priceless. What are you doing?
Oh, man.
Number 10.
Brooks Last. Bitch.
Wish. It was a disaster in the beginning.
Oh my god.
It was hard.
It was honestly a song that like taught us a lot about ourselves and about recording.
I mean, remember we had an intro, like a guitar, Bryan Adams intro,
And we were like, it
and
has
then
to
we
be
were like,
iconic, it has to be
okay,
iconic.
this gotta be good. And then we listened back and we were like, oh, this is horrible.
It was so
This
cheap.
is so cheesy. Oh my god, we tried so many things.
And then I think it came to a point where we're like, if we don't have to put it on if we like are having such a hard time. And then I gave it kind of like one last chance at rewriting. And once I had lyrics down that I was really proud of, I was like, let's give it another shot. And I think with that new like boost of motivation to make a song that would kind of
Capture a happy vibe.
capture the happy vibe and also still feel authentic and still feel like it came from us, even though there were points where I was like, there's literally no way on earth that this will ever sound good. But I think that also goes back to reminding yourself of like, it is just music, and like it is also like everything, at least for me. And even if at the time you're like, this sounds fucking awful, just like with Brooks Last.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
we're at the point where it's like,
Yeah.
this is such a good song. I love it so much. I love
Absolutely.
listening to it.
Do you want to keep that Hollywood ending?
No.
Ever since I started writing songs, I regularly tried to write a song that captured the feeling of leaving someone or something that hurt or even abused you, whether it's physically or emotionally. It took me about 7 years to write a song that I felt did exactly that.
I remember that when you came with this song first,
Mm-hmm.
you said you would like to have kind of like an organ vibe to
Yeah,
it, like
yeah.
different organs playing on top of each other.
Yeah.
But what I also have in the studio back there is a harmonium, and since you like that soundtrack so much from All Quiet,
Yeah, it's
It-
used a lot in All Quiet, and that was
Right.
like, when I heard that, I was like, it would be so cool to use it in also a more modern way.
what's so interesting with this instrument, it makes a lot of noise. First, you have to use the pedals to get the air in, which is then distributed through pipes and makes that sound.
Yeah,
And then you have some
the side thingies.
side thingies that you use with your knees to open up more registers, and all that makes a lot of noise. So I try to play this as loud as I could.
That's so much more dimension. That's the right word.
Absolutely.
I'm so proud of this song. It means so much to me personally, but also in a way where I believe there are other people that can take something from the song in their personal context. And that's always my main goal in songwriting, to create a piece that can refer to all kinds of different situations and people. I love it when I can just translate it into my own life and my own shit that I have going on.
Why do you cry?
Outros are difficult. What do you want the audience to leave with? I kept asking myself that question, and every attempt at writing a good outro was doomed to be a failure because I was overthinking it so much. So eventually I just stopped and ignored the outro issue. Why'd You Cry was originally a poem I had scribbled down with no intentions of using it because my poetry usually isn't very good. But when I came back to it the next morning, I really loved the simplicity of it and how it still, I don't know, it still touched me the next day. And then I just kind of started writing a few melodies along with it and decided to just use two. So it was a 2-part harmony that I recorded, nothing else, and that's all I brought to the studio. And then Thomas also wrote a few more harmonies that we partially used, and those were really strange to sing because they sounded, on their own, sounded so dissonant and just so wrong. But once everything came together, it felt like the perfect way to end the album and the perfect song to leave the listeners with.
Also, what you did what was cool is at the end, you kind of like inhale.
Yeah.
And like ending on an inhale is such a suspense. I loved it.
Yeah.
We both said, wouldn't it be cool to connect the ending of the album?
Yeah,
with
and
beginning?
have it end with an inhale and start with an exhale. That's the thing that you hear in the very beginning of What Is It Really? It's like an exhale. So if you play Why'd You Cry and then What Is It Really? It's kind of a thing of like.
Mostly like we also self-sufficient and just being right.
We made a fire, and
I don't. With
my little brother even has crashed down on my lap.
My problem is
My-
absolutely
My album. How would we like this album to be remembered?
The first of many great ones to come, like the foundation of a great career.
If people could remember it as a really well-written concept album, that would be really, 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 really cool. I hope that that it can reach a broad spectrum of people, of different ages and of different backgrounds. I think that's always something that I find really cool about music, when it's not just specific for one group of people that experience this one certain thing. And also, I mean, yeah, if it was like one of a few albums that are really good to come, that would go to. But yeah.
What was that? That's
That
what
was-
you said?
Even just snored.
I know, but what did you say? When you were looking at Thomas, what did you say?
First of many to come.
Oh,
You know.
oh yeah.
She kind of agreed to.
Just at the beginning with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Working on your tone.
Yeah. Would be cool.
Alfie wanted some bread.